mean, if you're in the bottling business, it costs real money. You have real trucks out there, and you have all kinds of machinery, and you have capital expenditures coming up. And, we've got businesses that take very little capital that make really high returns on capital. And the ones the politicians talk about as making high returns actually aren't making high returns usually in terms of capital. Insurance, property casualty insurance is kind of a rare business because you need capital as a guarantee fund that you will keep your promises, but you can use it to buy other low intensive capital businesses. I mean, you can buy you can buy Apple and have it support that business. So that can be a pretty good business, and it's one of the reasons we've done well over time. It'll be interesting to see how much capital intensity. There's more capital intensity going on with the Magnificent Seven than there was a few years ago. I mean, basically, Apple has not really needed any capital over the years, and it's repurchased shares that a dramatic amount of reduction. Whether that world is the same in the future or not is something. Hollywood's answer was always to get their money from other people to put up the capital. A lot of people have gotten very rich in the country by essentially figuring out how to get others to put up the capital. And that's what people do in the money management business, and they get very, very rich because they get an override on other people's capital. And incidentally, if all of you were paying 1% for investment management fees at Berkshire last year, you would have paid $8 billion for managing, and you really wouldn't have had to do it. But, investment management is a very good game because other people put up the capital and you charge them for the capital, whether they do well or not, and then you charge them a lot more if they do well. I mean, it's a well-designed business for the people who practice it, and who can blame them? I mean, that is capitalism. But and I saw that in operation when I was working at Solomon, but I didn't need to see it. I knew what existed anyway. The trick in life is to get somebody else's capital and get an override on it. Charlie and I decided it wasn't too elegant a business after a while, but we were not criticizing the efficacy of it. It just didn't appeal to us after a while. I did it for 12 years, though, or something like that. Not really. The one difference that Charlie and I did from other people is we put all our own money in into it. So we did share the losses with our own capital, but we got an override on other people's capital. And that's been, people have made advances where they get the override on other people's capital without putting up any of their own capital to speak of, and that's a very good business, but it can lead to a lot of abuse. Greg, you've watched capital management in the United States, and would you say that Canada's behind or ahead in this respect?
Well, I think when it comes to their capital system, Warren, it is very comparable. There's no question. Other than as we know, I mean, I think the U.S., as far as having a capitalist system, it would be tough to be touched by any country. And I think when I think of Canada, there's just certain responsibilities or obligations that the government wants to take on. and aren't going to leave with the public sector. And that's just a decision that's made by society or by the Canadian people, or if you look at another country, Australia, or wherever it may be. But so it's different. But when I think of capitalism, that drive is there, and the desire to allocate capital properly, it's very similar.
It's produced wonders in the United States if you think about it. But originally, with the Rockefellers and Kennedy and Carnegie's and all that, they actually put up money to build steel mill, or whatever it may have been, with Rockefeller refineries and pipelines and all that sort of thing. They put up money to do it. Now the trick is to use other people's money, basically, and you can't blame human beings for behaving like humans, but you should be aware of what their motivations are. Capitalism in the United States has succeeded like nothing you've ever seen, but what it is a combination of this magnificent cathedral, which has produced an economy like nothing the world's ever seen, and then it's got this massive casino attached. So you've got the cathedral and the casino, and in the casino, everybody's having a good time, and there's lots of money changing hands and everything, but the cathedral is what, you got to make sure the cathedral gets fed too, because the temptation, and the temptation's very high now, is to go over to the casino where people say, we've got magic boxes and all kinds of things that'll do wonderful things for you, and that's where people are happiest. That's where you get the most promised to you. That's where the most money is for the people that are pushing things. And the balance between the casino and the cathedral it's very important that the United States in the next 100 years make sure that the cathedral is not overtaken by the casino, because people really like to go to casinos. And it's just so much more fun, and they bring bells, and when you win, and they bring you drinks and everything else, and it's designed to move money from one pocket to another. But and in the cathedral, they basically are designing things that will be producing goods and services for 300 and some million people, like it's never been done before in history. It's an interesting system we developed, but it's worked. It dispenses rewards in what seems like a terribly capricious manner. I mean, the idea that people get what they deserve in life, and it's hard to make that argument. But if you argue with it, any other system where it seems to work better, the answer is we haven't found one. So I'll leave it to the next generation to send me the answer, and